Nightmare in Dreamland is one of the most popular Kirby games out there. Chances are, if you grew up with a Game Boy Advance, you've played Nightmare in Dreamland at some point. And there's a lot to love here, but like most Kirby games, the main draw is playing around with all of the different copy abilities. Everyone will have their favorites. Mine was Parasol growing up, and it still is, which is not a surprise given I made this. But I hear from a lot of people that a specific ability, Ball, is a joke ability along the lines of light and sleep. And don't get me wrong, those two are perfect examples of joke abilities, but Ball in Nightmare in Dreamland specifically, it's the real deal, one of the most powerful abilities in the whole game. To prove this point, I set out to clear the whole thing as Ball Kirby. No moving around as normal Kirby, no taking hits to lose the ball form, etc. That would be the first rule of the run, I guess. If Kirby's little red shoe things ever see action, the run is over. Unfortunately, there have to be a few exceptions. First is underwater, because Ball is not an ability that works in the water. Yeah, that's yet another Kirby challenge where the water just messes everything up. Water being annoying in a platformer, what a surprise. In this case, there's really nothing that we can do, but as soon as we jump out of the water, we need to get right back into the ball form before any kind of movement happens. Second, and less obvious, involves ladders. Going up a ladder isn't a problem because we can just bounce really high and kind of be done with it. Unfortunately, to prevent players from falling through the ladder when trying to climb down, you can't fall through a ladder tile. Ball can't climb down in its ball form, as we're calling it, so climbing down ladders, that isn't gonna count either. If anyone can think of a glitchless way around these, feel free to let me know in the comments because I'd love to have as few exceptions as possible. And yeah, no glitches. If you couldn't figure it out from what I said, we're not using glitches for this. Moving on, while not getting 100% won't invalidate the run or anything, anybody who's followed me for a while knows that I always go for 100% every time. So I'll be going for as many hidden switches as I can in every level. Oh, and I have to use Ball to maneuver the world map as well. Although, spoilers in that regard to kill any of you Kirby doubters out there. The world map was not an issue. For all of the problems that I had completing this challenge, the world map, very tame. But before we get into the run and how much suffering it caused, I wanted to quickly thank everybody for getting me to 600 subs. And I know at this point, we're well past 700. In fact, we're well past 800 at this point. But videos like this, they just take a lot of time. I do what I do for all of you, so I hope that you enjoy this. And if you want to follow me and my insanity on any other platforms, check out the description for my Twitch and my Twitter. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Don't play the SpongeBob clip because Viacom will kill me. Getting Ball in Vegetable Valley 1 isn't actually very hard. People who've watched some of my speedrunning videos know that you can easily inhale these two Waddle-Doo and use Mix to get an ability of choice. So all we do is inhale them, get Ball, move back to the start just for authenticity, and start the run! Unlike most of my Kirby challenges, where World 1 mostly serves as a simple introduction to how I want the run to play out, Vegetable Valley with Ball was tedious, annoying, and very, very long. While it's not the most difficult the run gets, I have to point out that the first annoying area is the second room in the game! It's a problem because the gap is too long for Kirby to simply jump over. Plus, he's too close to the ceiling to begin with. Not to mention, the Bronto Burt is just kinda there, ominously. So what you have to do is find your way to the third block, I guess, and try to land the jump from there. On the bright side, Vegetable Valley 2 lets me go over how easily Ball eviscerates the mini-bosses. Look at this, he dies in 2 hits! I don't want to go into too much detail because there's eventually going to be a copyability spotlight on Ball, and I would be ever so sad to ruin the fun of how much of a destructive force of unparalleled energy and strength that Ball turns into when hurtling towards the ground at an unheard of momentum. But what do we get immediately after crushing Poppy Brothers Sr.? This. Small boxed-in rooms like this are Ball's worst nightmare. While Ball is totally invincible during its hurtle towards the ground at a... when it lands and when it reaches the very top. Basically, when it has no momentum, it has no invincibility. So these enemies serve a very real threat to our progression. A 40-minute threat. Eventually, I figure out that the safest way to get through this is to very gently move to the left so that Kirby doesn't freak out and break the laws of physics by flying to the right after looking at the wall funny, and wait to see what the hothead will do. Once it's safe, have Ball do its thing, and you're good. There's some water up ahead, which proves annoying, but water in this run is a nice relief from the stress. Sure. The rest of Vegetable Valley is actually pretty manageable. Vegetable Valley 4 has this annoying bit where there's a lot of enemies moving around that Ball struggles with, but after a couple of tries, it's pretty easy to navigate through them. This room here is when I finally began using Ball's initial jump to deal damage to enemies, which winds up saving an absolute ton later in the run. I don't want to think about later on in the run right now. Let's just stay in the early game, where everything is simple, happy, and nice. Oh, sorry, I don't know what came over me there. Anyway, the easiest part of almost every world in the game is the boss fight, due to how crazy overpowered Ball is. All I can say about Wispy is that in Kirby's Adventure, Ball's hitbox is a lot smaller, so Wispy is actually unbeatable with Ball only. It's why we're trying Nightmare instead. Those who know me know that I prefer Kirby's Adventure a lot more. Still, this is something different, and that's nice. Also, more people have played Nightmare in Dreamland, so that's some more YouTube views! With that out of the way, Ice Cream Island got off to a very good start. Within minutes, I had already cleared the first level, and thought that maybe, just maybe, I was about to catch a break.
Viewers at home, we're going to make this baby interactive. How long do you think the second level to Kirby Fan to clear? Do you think A, 10 minutes, B, 30 minutes, C, an hour, D, 45 minutes, or E, skip ahead 5 seconds in the video to cheat and find out? If you guessed 45 minutes, congratulations! You understand the word challenge better than Kirby Fan does. And now, back to the action!
Starting off the very first room, it was basically a coin flip every single time. Don't get me wrong, it's very consistent, but due to the size and nature of Ball, getting hit here was a thing that happened. A lot. And then, look at this. You gotta tediously climb these stairs 1 or 2 at a time, but you can actually get hurt by this hothead. So not only is there a tedious climb, but you need to either wait for the hothead to do its thing, or chance going fast and get knocked back to the bottom and lose Ball. Our one break in this level is a mini-boss who goes down without a hatch, but then we get to this room and a major annoyance in the run rears its ugly head immediately. So as soon as you enter a room, Kirby can effectively act immediately, which makes sense. But when trying to activate an ability, or at least use Ball, you can mash all you want, but Kirby's just gonna stand there like there isn't actually some major urgency to use Ball because the enemy is right there. Kirby, you don't have headbutts on. And then here, because of the slants, using Ball's basic jump to deal damage is a lot harder than simply using the max bounce. The problem with the max bounce is that when enemies go off screen, they come right back, so your positioning needs to be on point so that you don't get hit. At this point, I just stayed away and jumped to safety ASAP, moved to the right, and broke this bomb block to finish the level. Whew. That was frustrating. One of the most frustrating levels in the game, I hope.
Oh, you say that now, but the true pain has yet to come. Your suffering has only just begun. It will grow exponentially and evolve into a deep, dark pit of insanity.
Oh, wow. It happened again. Concerning. Level 3. There's a lot of water and ladders here, so it feels a little weird talking about this for a ball-only run, but all of that and more is made up for by the fact that we fight the Mennonites for the first time. I think this is all I really have to show you to explain why this is so annoying, but at the very least, it's doable. It took me a while to figure out what to do, but once I did, it wasn't so bad. It's called optimism, folks. Ice Cream Island 4 is pretty uneventful, and dare I say, Ice Cream Island 5 is kind of fun. Yeah, the game actually saw that I had already spent over 2 hours on the easy parts of the game and decided to just let me have fun. It's still hard and it still took me a while, but this was the point where I remember thinking that I was finally learning how ball worked outside of boss fights, and wow, it really is just this good, huh? As for Paint Roller, well, you know the drill by this point. So that's 2 entire worlds done with, moving at a snail's pace, getting to Butter Building. Butter Building itself is probably the easiest out of all the worlds, since so much of it focuses on moving up, and because ball bounces so high, it becomes more about positioning and not getting hit, and less of Butter Building 1's secret switch, unfortunately, can't be accessed, because while ball destroys everything above and to the sides of it, it can't break blocks below it. While that's a major pain, we just have to move on, take the L. Butter Building 2 was super difficult, but I want to save that one for a little later. We're gonna put this in the see you in not that long, actually. Why is Kirby fan making a bit out of this? Oh no, it's getting drawn out. Next scene, move on! Butter Building 3 is the second easiest level so far, with almost nothing threatening getting in our way. Butter Building 4 has another fight with the Mennonites, but the platform layout is a lot more forgiving. This bit at the end is pretty cool too, with the air current making you jump even higher. I like it. Butter Building 5 is also a joke, while Butter Building 6 is mostly harmless, and we can even get the secret switch to get even closer to that now unreachable 100%. This room is a giant pain though, since getting on the top platforms is incredibly precise, and trying to sneak into the door from below simply isn't going to work. I got it eventually, but oh boy, was it annoying. Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright, easy, you know the drill. Now, Butter Building 2, gonna spoil it, this is the best level of the entire run. Clutch saves and tons of efficiency come together to make it a level that I'm really proud to have finished. Amazing. Just looking at this footage is making me feel all good. With all that said, we are 3 worlds in, and things are looking good. The dream of 100% is dead, but with water and ladders as the only exceptions, rolling around and bouncing has been all we need to clear the game so far. We're more than 4 hours in, and Kirby's Adventure I can realistically beat in less than that time if I'm not going for everything, but hey, progress is progress. And then that progress came to a hard, screeching halt at Grape Gardens. Any remote semblance of fun and enjoyment I had during this run died as soon as I had to suffer through the very first level. No, whatever this whole thing is, stop. We're tackling Grape Gardens next, and it's going to be fine. Okay, maybe the insanity in me has a point. Maybe I need some time to myself to properly conjure up my thoughts on Grape Gardens. I am not the same Kirby fan you all knew since I had to go through that. So I'll be posting part 2 of this run as my 700 subscriber special, something which was supposed to be an incentive for you to get me to that amount, but this took me forever, and now I'm well past 800, not to mention 700. Didn't I talk about this in the beginning already? Stroke my ego a little more, it's fine. Thank you all for subscribing. I genuinely appreciate it. The next part, it'll be out soon. Any of you that are already subscribed, you guys, super cool. With my appreciations out of the way, that's all for now. I've been Kirby Fan, enjoy your day, and I'm gonna have to relive Grape Gardens again. Oh!